Good morning, and welcome to this month's edition of Oak Hill Regional Community Development Corporation Third Wednesday Parent Resource Chat. As you know, I'm Bettina Campbell, and I am the Social Service Coordinator and Medicaid CHIP Assister for Oak Hill Regional Community Development Corporation, the parent corporation for Healthy Kids Mississippi. I am your moderator today. We also have with us Sister Lottie Miner, who serves as the project director for Oak Hill Regional Community Development Corporation, and our wonderful technology and metrics director, Mr. Thomas Robinson. We recognize our board chair, Jennifer Garrett, and our executive director, Dr. Michael O. Miner. In addition to the Zoomcast, we are restreaming today's webinar on our Oak Hill Regional CDC and Healthy Kids Mississippi Facebook pages. Feel free to share your social pages. Well, health awareness events are the things that we bring to you every month. And this month, we will be highlighting, we will be highlighting National Drunk and Driving Prevention Month. And we will talk about our self-care. Today, we're going to talk about the how and why of self-care, because self-care is so critically important. But before we start our presentation, we encourage you to please share this webinar on your social media platform. Then make sure you have your pencil and paper ready to write down your questions and concerns, as we will be sure to save time for you to answer the questions that you may have about the presentation. Once again, I encourage you to share today's webinar in your social media networks, and feel free to post questions and concerns in the Zoom and chat or on the social media, so we will do our best to make sure that we respond to each question. So now we're going to start our webinar. Start our presentation. Doug, would you help me with that, please? As I stated, we will be talking about self-care because the holidays are coming up, and many of us call this the most wonderful time of the year. But between buying gifts, hosting parties, trying not to break our health habits or the bank, and attending family gatherings, it can also be the most stressful time of the year. This is why it's super important to make time for yourself and provide self-love during the holidays. Next slide, please. In addition, what is sometimes referred to as the holiday blues are common. And although it feels different from mental health illness, it should be taken seriously. There are many reasons why people might experience stress and sadness between Thanksgiving and New Year's Day. 38% of the people who were polled during a survey said that their stress increased during the holiday season, and it led to feelings of loneliness, anxiety or depression, substance misuse, of course, that financial stress, and then grief. Next slide, please. Also, for many with mental illness, or for those who have family and friends and loved ones who face mental health challenges, and these can be tremendously difficult times. Many of us hope to feel connected and understood by those that are around us. So they may hope that everything is going to work out for them, but sometimes they feel trapped in their own minds and lost on waves of depression. And they imagine having fulfilling and fun family dinners, only to struggle to fit in. Next slide, please. When we forget to focus on self-care during the holidays, mental health issues can arise, and such as negative attitudes, physical exhaustion, and resentment among family members. 68% of the surveys, those that were surveyed by National Alliance on Mental Health, said that they felt a financial strain. 66% of them experienced loneliness, and 63% felt an overwhelming sense of pressure. Self-care can help mitigate most of these problematic issues. And here are 9 effective techniques that you can implement to make your holiday season more enjoyable and satisfying. Next slide, please. So we want to first make sure that you get enough rest, that you get enough sleep, that you schedule downtime, and that you make sure that you're nourishing yourself by eating healthy and often and drinking plenty of fluids. We want you to slow down and take a breath and take a break from social media and set realistic expectations, because the holidays schedules can be frantic, and the frequent travel or social obligations that need to be fulfilled can lead to exhaustion. It can lead to lack of sleep, and that, of course, increases your stress. There's also pressure in wrapping things up at school, at work during this time. It's important to prioritize your emotional health and well-being, and remember to take self-care and ensure that you're getting enough sleep, you're exercising, you're having nourishing foods. And also, that during that time we are expected to be happy, smiling all of the time, being cheerful, and it's also almost like a pressure to feel the things are perfect, and which can lead to disappointment, because oftentimes the reaction that we hope for is not the reaction that we get. And it's also easy for us to compare ourselves to others during this time, especially if we're on social media and we're strolling through and we're thinking of that other people's lives and their families look like they're having so much fun and they're perfect and ours isn't. So then again, that causes us stress and feelings of depression and unhappiness. So being connected to our phones and our computers and devices can put our brain on overload. Set boundaries for yourself. Look at your phone less and avoid screen time before bedtime, because if it makes it easier for you to sleep, because your mind is not constantly playing those images that you just saw on your computer or on your phone. We want you to slow down and breathe. It's easy, to get sucked into multitasking when you have so much to do. And what's happening is you're trying to shift your attention to so many things. You got to get your dinner ready, you got to get your gifts wrapped, you got to call and make sure that everybody's on the way. If dinner's potluck, you got to make sure that those people that are bringing the potluck dishes are there before everybody else, so the dinner is ready to be served when you say it's going to be served. So what you need to do then is when you find that happening, is just try to shift your attention to what you're doing in the moment, and get grounded in where you are at any given time, because it helps to ease that feeling of overwhelmness. So when we experience stress, some of us, or many of us, stop breathing, and because of that, we're getting less oxygen to the brain. So when we take time to focus on the breathing, it sends a signal to your nervous system that everything is okay, and it helps you to calm down and remove some of the stress. So I want you to take time before the holidays, really get rolling, and Google some breathing exercises and try practicing them, so that when these times come, you can use those to help to relieve the stress of what you're feeling during that time. 5 is, I want you to call a loved one and get connected. Sometimes we have to spend time with family or friends, and we'd rather be somewhere else, because for many different reasons, it's just not a happy situation for us to be in. And so what we want, instead of being with the family of birth or marriage, we want to be with the family that we've chosen. So when we can always connect with those people by phone. So when you're feeling that way, I want you to when you're feeling isolated or stressed, or difficult emotions come up, I want you to pick up the phone and call those people that you're thinking about, that you're wishing that you were with. Not text them, but actually call them and talk to them, because if you're doing that, it can help, and you're venting some of those frustrations that you can have. It can help you calm down and get your perspective back in order, so that the hearing of the familiar voice makes you feel more comfortable, more relaxed, and makes it easier for you to engage in the situation that you're in. So Call that friend, don't text them, and just express what you're going through at that time, and then letting them know that just talking to them has helped to calm you. And then you can go back and rejoin the situation that you find yourself in, knowing that later you're going to be with those people that you choose to be with. Acknowledge your grief. You know, sometimes when we've lost someone, especially if it's the first loss, and especially if it's really close to those holidays, we feel that the world, that nobody remembers but us, that if the world has forgotten, our family has forgotten about those people that we love and that we've lost, and they somehow they've moved on, but you're still there, very painful and very resentful. So we want you to make sure that if you're grieving during this time, you realize that the holidays may look different moving forward. You may feel a variety of emotions, and that's okay. You may be upset that your loved one is gone. You feel guilty over a lack of holiday cheer because people around you are so happy, and they seem to think that you're supposed to be all happy and all engaged into, instead of just being present and being there. And there may be a desire that this time because they're used to being at your house, but because you just lost that loved one, the family dinner may be moved to another family member's house, and the tradition is broken, and you long for that tradition because you long for that some of that sameness that you had with the person who's gone. So just remember, there's no right way or no wrong way to grieve or to celebrate, and your grief matters, whether you feel sad or you're finding time during this time. And it's okay to find joy. It's okay to be happy. That does not mean that you miss the loved one less or that you've forgotten about them. It's just you finding some relief in being able to do something different, and to enjoy being with and surrounded by your family and or your friends. I want you to move your body, and movement gets the blood flowing, and it brings your attention to the present moment instead of worrying about the past or the future. It doesn't have to be a long run, but it should be something you enjoy, even if it's just dancing to your favorite playlist in your room. Number 8, I want you to use meditation. And this is a time that we want you to sit down and follow your breath. You can, taking the time to sit down and simply follow your breath can bring you into the moment and help you feel connected. And here's the easy steps that you can follow to meditate. I want you to sit or lie down comfortably. Gently close your eyes. Don't try and control your breathing. Just let your breath flow naturally. Focus on the attention of the breath, observing the inhalation and the exhalation. And if your mind wanders, that's okay. You just simply bring it back to the breath. And that's also called practicing mindfulness. And it is to try to not let the hectic pace interfere with your ability to make the holiday enjoyable. Whether it's holiday music or decoration or the fir tree, take some time to notice. Try to focus on those aspects of mindfulness. To make the season more special, think about what excites and makes you happy during the holiday. And what do you love about it? What's that fascination that keeps you going through all of this stress and anxiety during those times? Remember, feelings of isolation and depression and anxiety may come and go with the holiday season. But if you notice they intensify or persist after the holidays end, please reach out to a trusted adult or a mental health professional for support. Next slide, please. If you need help right now, we want you to text HOME, HOME, to 741-741 for a free confidential conversation with a trained counselor at any time of the day. You can also text 988 or use the chat function at 988-lifeline.org. Again, that's 988-LIFELINE.org. If it's a medical emergency or you feel like there's immediate danger or harm to yourself or others, call 911 and explain that you need the support for a mental health crisis. Next slide, please. This is my contact information. If at any time we can be able to be of help with you or to provide more information on this topic, you can reach me, Bettina Campbell, at Oak Hill Regional Community Development Center, Get Covered, Mississippi, at 1775 Memphis Street in Hernando, Mississippi. Our office number is 662-298-3584. Again, that's 662-298-3584. I got two that should have been toll free. My cell number is 810-210-7720. Or you can reach me at, and I forgot to put it on there, I apologize, Bettina, Bettina, at getcoveredms.org. That's Bettina, Bettina, at getcoveredms.org. Okay, thank you for that, Duke. And so again, we want to encourage you to share today's webinar on your social media. And we want you to feel free now to post your questions or your comments, or if you've already posted your questions and comments in the chat, we're going to be checking on the social media. If there are any questions, we're going to ask Duke to read those questions off to us. Or if you're on the Zoom, please feel free to open up your mic and share your thoughts or your questions with us.
And the chat function is available for the ones that are in Zoom.
Duke, it looks like we have a question. Sister Brenda, you said that the chat function wasn't working. So Mr. Robinson said that it is now. So if you have, or if you've on Zoom, please open up your mic and ask your question. Sister Wilson, is there anyone else that have any questions or any concerns?
Anyone on Zoom can raise your hand, and we will unmute your mic.
Okay, so we don't have any questions. Sister Boger says this information is so appreciated. Sister Carol said, thanks for saying it's okay to be happy, even missing your loved ones. Okay, Sister Brenda says she's on her phone and it's not letting her open up, but she wanted to say thank you for the information because it's very helpful to everyone. You know, sometimes we get so caught up in what we are trying to do, and we want to please everybody. We want everybody to be happy, from our husband or our boyfriends or our special mate, all the way over to the neighbor next door. Or even sometimes we have the mailman that we give gifts to, or the mail person that we give gifts to. And so we're busy doing that for everybody, and we don't take time for ourselves. You've heard me say before the analogy about when you're flying, and the first thing that the first thing that you were told is that if something happens and the mask drop down, to secure your own first before you try to help anybody else. Because if you're not in a good mental space, then and your emotions are all churned up, you are not any good to anybody else. And certainly you're not any good to yourself. So stop. I give you permission to stop feeling guilty and selfish if you don't knock yourself out to please everybody else during the holidays. That everybody is relaxed and resting, and it's a time that you should also take care of you. It's important. because their life goes on after that 1 or 2 days that you're preparing for. Have you ever noticed, ladies, that we spend weeks, sometimes months, preparing for Christmas Day, preparing for Thanksgiving Day, making sure that the meal is just right, making sure that the house is pretty. And then the next day, we setting up bemoaning the fact that we got to take all that stuff down. We got to figure out what we're going to do with all of that food that was left over. And everybody else is going on their way. Sometimes they're nice enough to get up and help with the dishes after dinner. But oftentimes they, especially the Thanksgiving, they're rushing off to watch the ball game. And that leaves you, now you've been up since up to time in the morning, and now it's 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening, and you still have the dishes to do. You still got to pick up all of the papers and the wrappings from all of the gifts and stuff that everybody brought so that you could share. When is it your time? So I suggest that this Christmas or this Thanksgiving, that you start forming committees. I may be the one that cooked the food, but so-and-so is going to help serve it. These people are going to help pick it up and clean up after dinner. And then we're going to open the gifts. Or then we're going to all sit down and watch the ball game together, because I deserve the opportunity to enjoy this holiday, because we don't. We tell ourselves that because our family is happy, we're happy. What we really are is tired as all get out and wishing that everybody would go home so that we can get some rest. So we can avoid that up front by practicing some of the things that we talked about remembering to slow down, to breathe. Remember that when you get up on Christmas morning or New Year or Christmas Eve or the day before Thanksgiving, that you should eat a good breakfast. You should also plan on having a lunch. Take the time to make sure that you get the nourishment that you need in order to help make you through the day. And especially if you have some health issues like diabetes, you should make sure that you are taking care of you during this time and that you're getting the rest that you need, that you should not be climbing out of bed at 6 o'clock in the morning to start dinner and not getting back into bed till 1 o'clock in the morning because everybody left all of the everything behind for you to take care of and pick up. Anybody else have any comments? I see that we have a lot of them in the chat this afternoon and this morning, and I'm just so thankful that you tuned in. So if there are no more questions, and I wanted to give you some friendly reminders so that on Monday, November the 27th at 6 p.m., we are still going to be joining Ask Mary and Pat, their Zoom webinar, and bring your questions about Medicaid or CHIP, or even Mr. Campbell might be there. I'm not sure, but if you have questions about the Affordable Care, this is the time that you get them answered. So again, watch Mary and Pat Monday, November 27th at 6 p.m. If you don't already have a Zoom link, please reach out to the office so that you can make sure that you get a Zoom link and be a part of it. Or I think that it's also on our web page that you can go to, and I'll give you those in just a minute. And also, I want to next third Wednesday parent resource chat will be January 17th. So we're not going to have one in November, but we will have a special Zoom in November that we are asking you to join into. More information about that will be coming up because in December. December is World AIDS Day. And we are going to be doing a special webinar. So we ask that you join us at that time, and we will be sending out information about that. And in January, we're going to be talking about cervical health. And that's very important given the state of maternal and infant deaths and other sexually transmitted diseases in Mississippi. It's critical that we do talk about cervical health. And so we will have someone on that's going to be talking to us about cervical health and how to protect and how to prevent some of the illnesses that occurred and that negatively impact our cervical health. And we want you to encourage your family and your friends to please join us because it's something that they don't want to miss. Women, join us for yourself, but also for your daughters, for your sisters, for your mothers, for your friends. Get the information for them. Men, join us for your wives, for your mother, for your daughters, for your sisters, so that you can make sure that they have the information that they need to have good cervical health. And you can learn more about us at www.oakhillregionalcdc.com and www.healthykidsms.org. Once again, we acknowledge our board chair, Jennifer Garrett, and our executive director, Dr. Michael O. Minor. This has been a production of the Oak Hill Regional Community Development Corporation, belonging, building, and bridging in the Mid-South region and across the state of Mississippi. And because you've been such a wonderful audience today, I'm going to give you back some change. So enjoy the rest of your day. For those of you who are on Zoom, if you care to stay around for a few minutes while we sign off social media, we will appreciate that. Thank you. Everybody have a blessed day and enjoy your Thanksgiving.